Good morning. Oh,
Morning.
good morning.
Do you remember how much each team gets in extra credit? Do you remember? I
The
know
winning,
it was the winning team got 10. I know that.
I think it's 10, 8, 6. No, maybe. I know the lowest gets 2.
2. Okay. So Lowe's gets 2. What about third? Do you think that's 4
Uh, it
or
might be.
6?
It might be 8 and 4.
8 and 4. Okay. I don't remember.
I think it says somewhere, but I don't remember where.
Yeah, I know. I know that I found the totals on week 4, but I need to add the extra credit to these these young adults scores. Um, Sorry, that's the old man in me. These students' scores, but I don't remember because I have one team that came in third and our team came in like last. So we get 2, but I don't know what my other team does.
Yeah, I'm looking.
What if I just said screw it and gave everybody 4 points? What if I just like screw it?
Yeah,
Save me
make,
a
make, make it up as you go.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I mean, what's it gonna hurt, right?
Let me check our master weekly because I think she might have it on like the.
Okay.
Or no, maybe not. That's just for us. Um, okay, so Matt is in the car. He's driving down to San Diego.
Matt Cabrera?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's got a game down there.
Okay. So he's gonna miss out on lecture.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just have him make a. Was it module 12, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it'd be good if he could make it here at 10, but, um, because he really doesn't need the lecture. He needs the how to do the worksheet.
Okay. Yeah, he texted me like a couple minutes ago that he's driving right now. So I don't think he'll be
Okay.
able to.
Did he just started driving?
Yeah, depends on like when, like, yeah, like
My guess is
what's
he
his
might have left like
ETA?
at
So,
8. Okay.
yeah, find out what his ETA is. So,
Make
because
it here by what you said, 10:30,
10.
10 o'clock. Okay.
Oh no, not 10. No, 10 is 4 minutes. Sorry. 10:45. Can you make it here by 10:45? At the latest 11, So not 10. I was thinking 11 in my head. But, 11 or sooner. Cuz again, he doesn't really need the lecture, um he needs the worksheet help. Cuz I don't know how good my explanation is going to be this morning. So it's just like he could skip it.
Oh, he says he's getting to the field at 11.
Oh, at 11. Okay. So can he can he participate at 11? Because that would be good.
I think there's a 12 o'clock tutoring too, right?
Let me look. Right. There is
There
a
is.
12 o'clock, yes, and a 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So there's 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock today. So he can go to both of those too, or either or either or both.
Because he seems to have a pretty good grasp of everything. So I'm kind of not worried, but
Yeah, he's not one to worry too much about. I mean, I can look up his grade, but I'm sure it's in the higher percentile.
yeah, he's the highest in the class, I think, right now.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. Those baseball kids are kind of smart cookies. So,
I think they do a stats a lot in baseball, right?
yes, it's called sabermetrics actually. So a lot of statistics.
Okay, he says yes if he can do it from his phone.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll allow it. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds perfect. What's the rest of our class, huh?
I messaged them.
I know, I saw that. That's why I came in, because you messaged me. Like, oh, time to go teach.
Yeah. Is this your first class of the day?
No,
No?
I had one
Okay.
before this. Yeah. Although my son woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning last night, so like, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm just like
How
happy.
come?
I was not happy with that. Oh, he was hungry. He wanted to make Chinese food at 4 in the morning.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, totally. It's spring, it's summer break. Just make your Chinese food at, he's like banging pots and pans, making Chinese food, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, and
Wait,
I walk out.
he was making it?
Yeah, he was making
Oh,
it.
that's not that bad. If he
Yeah.
can make it and do his own dishes, he can make whatever he wants.
Well, at 4 o'clock in the morning with the pots and pans banging together. Um, and then I walk out of my bedroom and he's like, "Oh, you need to go back to sleep." I'm like, "Okay, thanks for the suggestion. You're the one that just woke me up." He's like, "Well, I was hungry. What do you expect me to do?" I'm like,
You're funny.
"I don't know, make some toast. The toaster's quiet." But the wok, this Chinese wok with your noodles, that's not quiet at 4 o'clock in the
That
morning.
sounds so good though. All right, I have David is
And now
here.
and now guess where he is? Guess where he
Sleep.
is? Yeah, he's in bed right now.
Mm-hmm.
And guess where I don't get to be? In bed. Because he woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So you know what I did? I took myself to McDonald's and had breakfast at McDonald's. I was like, screw you, and your walk, your damn Chinese food, waking me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, banging your pots and pans. Like, screw you. I'm gonna go to McDonald's, and I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna bring him anything back. That was it. I was like, he likes McDonald's too. So it's like, no, you ate your dinner at 4 in the morning, waking me up with your bad self. I'm gonna take that walk and smack it up against your head. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll be doing that. I got a Chinese food recipe for him. It's called 100 Ways to Walk Your Dog.
Oh, that's funny. A walk is W-O-K.
Exactly. You get it? 100 Ways to Walk your Dog. Yeah, we can't say that in America though. It's illegal. That's a legal statement. Okay. So in China, it's not illegal. So because they're all starving to death. So they eat everything. They eat dirt because they're hungry. Scorpions, they like have these little scorpions on a stick. I don't know if I could ever do that. I mean, I'd have to be really, really hungry to eat scorpions on a stick.
Have you had crickets?
crickets. That's not so bad.
It's not that bad.
But the scorpion thing, I mean, I have like arachnophobia, so it's just not gonna be good, you know. And they're arthropods, the scorpions. They're too close to spiders for me, so it's not good.
Oh, could you do the co-host or host
Yeah.
Luis or something?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool.
Yeah. That'll be good. We got 3 people so far. Is that it?
And everyone's phones is put somewhere not by
4
them?
people. We got 4 people. That's good.
I see 3.
No, oh yeah, you're right. We got 3. That's right. 3. Okay, yeah. I was counting Luis.
Yes.
Luis doesn't count. He's a non-countable set. That's a math joke. Okay, I'm gonna wait 1 more minute and then we're gonna go. We're gonna roll.
Leonard and Jishan usually show up like 5-10 minutes late.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, let me do this. Okay, and Amanda, you're going to be co-host. And Luis, you're going to be host. Okay.
Oh, did anyone look up or watch the fight? I know Matt was asking about it. Did anyone watch it?
Which fight? There was a fight?
Yeah. MMA?
Oh, MMA. Yeah.
He asked in the chat. I totally forgot to.
I don't follow MMA. I kind of didn't ever get into that whole thing.
Oh, I was right. It was Usman.
It was.
I just watched the highlight reels because I don't follow it either.
Yeah, I just I like boxing more than that, but I grew up on Rocky movies, so like I like the punching in the face. And
Boxing's rigged.
Boxing is not rigged.
Boxing's rigged.
They had to cut it from 15 rounds to 10 though, because people were going blind and getting concussions. So yeah, but there's too much downtime in the MMA. They're like, oh, I got this guy's knee in my neck, and that's about it for about a minute, 60 seconds of just this one guy's knee in his neck. Like, it's kind of boring, you know. So,
And then, Jishan, your phone's away?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let me share my screen here. Share screen. Okay. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen at this point. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's go to the notes. So the notes today are going to come out of the text, and the text is right. The text is in the module itself. So in the module itself, you can get module 12 text, right? Intro to confidence intervals. So can you guys see my screen? Hopefully, yes, no. Hopefully you can see my confidence interval screen. Okay. Defining a confidence interval, what you need to know, what a confidence interval is. Okay. What is a confidence interval? That's what we need to know. What is a confidence interval? And for which parameters will we be building confidence intervals? And today we're just going to talk about 2 of the parameters. Okay. That's proportions and mean. We will build confidence intervals for. How to read and interpret a confidence interval in context, and how to make decisions from conclusions based on the confidence interval. Okay. Okay, the most interesting questions in statistics are the ones concerning populations. Okay, this is a population of things. Well, we want to know things like, what is the mean number of votes for a Heisman Trophy winner? What's the percentage of WNBA games that go into overtime? These values, when summarizing a population, are called parameters. The problem with these questions is that the populations are so massive that we could never possibly properly survey or measure the entire group. We can't survey the entire group. We have to instead collect information from a sample of the population. When we find summary values from the population from a sample, we call them statistics. So population, parameter, sample, statistics. Okay, sample, statistics, sample, statistics. But statistics will not necessarily give us exact value of the parameter, because as observed in Unit 2, data from samples vary. Okay, but lucky for us, the central limit theorem, when the central limit theorem requirements are met, we can predict how certain statistics, mainly unbiased estimators, proportion, mean, and standard deviation, vary. Okay. These statistics are random samples, are most likely to occur close to their parameters. So they occur close to the parameters. The statistics occur close to the true parameters. Okay, okay, let's look at an example here. Okay, confidence interval and spearfishing. Okay, from what we know of sampling distributions of proportions, okay, the sample proportions center on the population proportion, okay, and vary according to the normal distribution with a standard error of this. Okay. So let's take a bizarre analogy here. So actually, let's describe that sentence before. From what we know, the sampling distributions of proportions are normally distributed. So let's draw a normal curve. Okay, so the population proportions, okay, sorry, the sampling proportions center on the population proportion, okay, sampling the distributions, okay, and vary according to the normal distribution with a certain standard error, okay, certain standard error. Standard error up, standard error down, okay, that's how we get it to vary. So let's take a bizarre analogy here and pretend that there is a school of fish that behaves like a beehive. So a school of fish that behaves like a beehive, and there is the queen fish that sits in the middle of the school. So the P is going to be the queen. Okay, the queen here is P. P is the queen. That's the queen fish. Okay. Okay, so that's the queen fish. Sits in the middle of the school, deep in a lake, and she never moves. Okay, she never moves. She represents the population parameter P. Okay, P. Population parameter P. Okay, that is sitting at a particular value. All of the other worker fish go out. Okay, here's P. Here's the queen. What the heck, man? Give me my pen. Okay, here is the queen right here, P. Okay, she's sitting at the center, okay, of the lake, but we don't really know where she's at particularly. Okay, all the other worker fish go out swimming around her, searching for food to bring back to the queen. Okay, so all the worker fish, and those are going to be my P hats. All the worker fish here, maybe I'll put them in green. Okay, these are my P hats. Okay, those are my worker fish. My worker fish are my p hat. And so I'm just going to talk about one worker fish, and we're going to stab this one worker fish, and we're going to call him p hat. Okay, so that's the one worker fish that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, and so we stab this guy, we stab this worker fish. Okay, all the worker fish, they represent all the possible sample proportions. All possible sample proportions. Okay, all the possible sample proportions are represented by p hat. Okay, you observe some of the worker fish, and you, being a talented spear fisherman that you are, can easily capture them. But what you really want to do is capture the queen. Okay, you want to capture the queen. You're going to look for fish. Okay, you don't know where the queen is, but you're going to look for fish, and you're going to try to spear one of the fish and then find out, well, how close is that fish to the queen? So you decide to build a contraption along your spear so that when you stab a worker fish, a net shoots out. Okay, so a net shoots out. Okay, and so I'm going to stab a worker fish here. Oops. And then a net is going to shoot out. Okay, there's my net. And it's going to capture fish around it. And the goal is to capture the queen. I want to capture the queen. Okay, instead of like capture the flag, it's capture the queen. Okay, so I want to capture the queen here. Okay, the bigger your net is, the more likely you are to capture the queen, right? So if I have a big net, I'm more likely to capture the queen. If I have a small net, I'm less likely to capture the queen. However, a big net doesn't tell me much about the queen's location. A small net tells me more about where the queen is located, right? So a smaller net is better because it's more accurate. Okay, it's more accurate. Or what we would say precise. It's more accurate and more precise. It's more precise. Okay, so smaller your net, small nets are more accurate and precise. Okay, small nets are more accurate and precise. Okay. Okay, so that's the idea. We want a confidence interval. So when we refer to a confidence level of 95%, that is like our net. Our net is a 95% chance. We have a 95% chance of capturing the queen. Okay, so this is a 95% chance of capturing the queen. Capturing, what's the queen? The queen is our true proportion. That's our true proportion. Okay, that's our population proportion. We don't know where the population proportion is. Okay, but we do know a sample. And we want to know, well, how close do we think our sample is to the true population? Okay, and we can be 95% confident, we could be 99% confident, we could be 80% confident. Okay, the lower our confidence level, okay, the lower our confidence level, the smaller our net. Okay, the lower the confidence level, the smaller the net. So if I'm at 95% confident, that is going to be a larger net than if I'm 80% confident. If I'm only 80% confident, then that's a much smaller net. Confidence level goes down, net size goes down. Okay. So it says when we refer to a confidence level of 95%, that means that we are assuming that our spear caught a sample proportion that was in the middle 95% of the distribution. in the worst case scenario of us catching the fish on the edge, okay, if we catch the fish right on the edge of that 95%, okay, the empirical rule, we know that from the empirical rule that the net would have to extend about 2 standard errors to catch the queen. Okay, you'd have to extend 2 standard errors to catch the queen. Okay. The diagram for sampling distribution is below. Notice the spear in the worst best case scenario of 95%. Here's the spear, and here's my net, right? Here's my net. I'm going to... Okay, the spear in the diagram above points to the boundary between values for the sample statistic that we expect to occur versus those that we don't expect. Based on the level of confidence, this boundary between expected and unexpected statistics is referred to as a critical value. So the spear value is a critical value. Okay, so let me try to explain this a little bit better than maybe the book is explaining. Okay, let's use some numbers here. Okay, let's say that I go out and I sample 1,000 people, and they say 65% of the time that Bernie Sanders is too old. Okay, 65% of the people feel Bernie Sanders is too old. Okay, he's just too old to be president. Okay, now that's 1,000 people, right? 1,000 people. Is that going to be P or P hat? Is that going to be P or P hat? Is that the population?
Is that P hat?
Yes, Jay Sean, absolutely. Jay Sean, you get 2 spins for that.
All right.
Okay, Jay Sean gets 2 spins. Okay, because he was the first one that responded to me, and he's awake. Okay, so that would be P hat. Why Jay Sean is it P hat?
Because that's all of them, right? The 1,000 people, the whole
that's
number.
the 1,000 people, and is the 1,000 people a sample, or is it the entire population of the United States?
It's a sample.
It's a sample, right? So P hat goes with a sample. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Okay, so P hat, this is a sample. Our sample size is 1,000, right? So 1,000 people say, 1,000 people said, I'll say said, 65% of the time that Bernie Sanders is too old. So the P hat here is 65%, right? 65%, that's P hat. That's from our sample. Now we want to know some information about our population proportion. We want to know how is this value going to tell me information about, you know, what the rest of the country feels, right? The whole population of the United States. Does the whole population feel the same way as these 1,000 people? How confident am I? How confident are we that 65% of the US think Bernie is too old? Okay, how confident are we in this? Well, it all depends on the confidence level that we choose. Say that at 95% confidence level, we're between 0.60 and 0.70. Okay, 95%, we're between 0.60 and 0.70. Okay, that's kind of interesting. But if we but at 99% confidence interval, okay, we're at 0.55 and 0.75. Okay. And at 80%, we're at 0.64 and 0.66. Okay, so let's look at these confidence intervals and these confidence levels. Okay, what do we notice as our confidence interval, our confidence level goes up? As our confidence level goes up, what happens? Well, doesn't our interval get wider, right, as it goes up? If I started at 80, it was only 0.64 to 0.66, right? So 0.64 to 0.66. Again, 0.65 is right here. Well, let me do a better graph here. Let's look at a number line. 0.65 is right there, right? And so, right, this would be 0.70 and 0.60, right? And we're saying, look, at 80%, we're only 80% confident that the true population proportion, okay, we're only 80% confident that the true population proportion is between 0.64 and 0.66. Now, what if I told you that the true population proportion was actually, for the population in the United States, was 62%? That's P. What if I told you that P was 62%? Well, that would make sense that we're only 80% confident because 62% is not inside my confidence interval. We failed to capture the queen because our net was too small. Okay. Now, for 95%, did we capture the queen? Did we capture the queen for 95%? Is 62 or 0.62, is that between 0.60 and 0.70? Yeah. Okay, so we at 95% we captured the queen, right? But what about 99%? Okay, 99%. What happened at 99%? At 99%, we still capture the queen, but we also capture a lot of numbers here. Okay, maybe I'm going to reverse these. Okay, let me reverse these so that it makes more sense in our brains. Okay, at 99%, we were at what, 0.55 and 0.75, I think. 0.75, was that right? And then at 95%, we were at 0.60 and 0.70. And at 80%, we're at 0.6, right? So notice that as I go up in confidence level, I'm 99% confident that we caught the queen. But what happens is it's a much wider range. And so we don't really know exactly where the queen is. We're not able to hone in on it. So as our confidence, as we become more confident, our error goes up. Okay, our error goes up as we become more confident. Okay, as we become more confident, our error goes up, or as we become less confident, our error goes down. Okay, but we're less confident. We don't know that we caught the queen. Okay. Okay. Big ideas about the confidence interval from the spearfishing analogy. When finding a confidence interval, an important thing to remember is that the parameter you are looking for already has a value and is already set before you even start collecting data. Since the chance of a single value estimating the parameter precisely is virtually zero, we must give an interval of values that are likely to contain the true value of the parameter. It's very unlikely that you're going to hit the queen on your first stab. We are creating an interval that we hope ends up containing the parameter. We are not making an interval and hoping the parameter lands in it. Okay, that is the wrong way to think about it. The parameter doesn't move, our samples do. Okay, the parameter is fixed, and we're just trying to create a guess, an educated guess as to where that parameter lives. The chance of getting a sample proportion that creates an interval containing the parameter is what is referred to as the confidence level. When we talk about a 95% confidence level, for example, What we're saying is that we are confident that if we were to make 100 intervals using 100 different samples, about 95 of them will include the true parameter. Okay, so we're 95% confident that we would have stabbed, okay, that we would have netted, we've gotten our net, okay, if we did this 100 times, that 95 of those times we would have caught the queen. That's what we're saying. Now, is there a chance that we didn't catch the queen? Yeah, 5% of the time. So we can be wrong here. It's okay to be wrong. Okay, we can't be 100% certain that that the queen is in our net. We can only be 95% certain. That's why in a lot of statistics it'll say, okay, if you watch CNN or any of the news, it will say, we got this value that 65% of Americans think Bernie Sanders is too old. 65% think he's too old, plus or minus, okay, 5%. And where do you think that plus or minus comes from? Well, that's our confidence interval. Does that make sense? This is something called the margin of error. And most of the time, they're going to use a 95% confidence interval. And if I were to add 5% to 65, I would get 70%. And if I were to subtract 5% from 65, I would get 60.60. And notice that this is my 95% confidence interval. It just had a margin of error, right? And what's the margin of error based off? It's based off of the sample size. The larger your sample size, the smaller margin of error. Why is that? Because the formula is PQ over N. As N gets bigger, the error goes down. Does that make sense? As we divide by a large number, our error goes down. Now there's a Z star here that we have to talk about tomorrow. Okay, but the idea is that N goes up, the error, okay, the error goes down. The margin of error will go down. Okay, as N goes up, the margin of error goes down. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back to the spearfishing analogy. Okay. Okay. And and try to look at this guy and write a sentence about him. Okay. So do I have any extra space here anywhere? Nope. I don't have any extra space. Oh yeah, I do, right here. Okay. So I'm going to write it here. Says that if we get 0.60 to 0.70, not 75, 0.70, okay, 0.60 to 0.70 is our 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval is 0.60 to 0.70. Okay, then how would I phrase that in a sentence? I would phrase it and say, I am 95% confident that the proportion of people in the USA, who think Bernie is too old to be president, okay, is too old, is between what? I'm 95% confident that the proportion of people in the USA who think Bernie is too old is between 60% and 70%. Okay, so 60%, I apologize for my handwriting here. Okay, 60%, I'm still learning how to write on glass. I write on a whiteboard for 20 years of my life, and then they're like, oh, you can't do that anymore. You got to learn how to write on glass. My whiteboard writing is so much more legible than my glass writing. Okay, 60% and 70%. Okay, I'm not complaining. It's always good to get some new skills, because you got to have the skills to pay the bills, right? Gotta get those skills. Okay. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense. Okay, 95% confident. Now, one of the trainers, tutor trainers, I don't know what they're called. What are they? Luis, what's your title?
A tutor.
You're a tutor.
Yeah, he's a tutor trainer.
He's a tutor trainer. And what are you?
I'm a mentor trainer.
You're a mentor trainer. Okay.
And you're a math coach.
And I'm a math coach.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually had a student call me coach once, and I kicked him out of my classroom because he was just being disrespectful.
You don't like coach?
I didn't like coach at the time because I was 23 and the guy was just being a jerk. He's like, what up, teach? What up, coach? And I'm like, my name is Mr. Hultman. You can call me Mr. Hultman. He was just kind of like this young punk. Like, he was like 17 at the time, and he was just like, what up, coach? I'm like, I'm not a coach. He's like, you're my math coach. I'm like, okay. But again, I was young. I was very young, straight out of college.
The prophecy came true.
I did exactly. The prophecy did. He's like, you're not my math coach. I'm like, what up? Okay. I'm like, anyway, that was a hard class. That was the worst class I ever taught. Was that very first class. It's like baptism by fire. Right? It's like, those guys were rough. That was rough. Rough times in that class. That was kind of the beginning of the end of my high school career. Was that class. I was like, screw this. I am going back to school and getting my master's degree and not teaching high school again. Now, I did continue to teach high school. I actually taught it for 10 years, but I didn't ever teach that class before. I moved on to teach Calc AB and BC, which was a whole lot nicer. The Calc AB and BC kids, they don't generally throw things at you. So that was much better environment. So they don't hit you either. I've been hit once in the classroom. So that also was another one, was like
a punch, or
yeah, like a punch right here. Boom. Right there. Right in the jaw.
You hit him back?
No. He knocked me out. Like, knocked me to the ground. Not out, but he knocked me to the ground.
Holman, if I was in that class, I would have knocked him out for you.
You know what happened? So he was fresh out of juvie, right? Fresh out of juvie. They put him in my classroom, right? And he starts spitting at the other students. He starts spitting at the other students. I guess he didn't like one of them. And I said, dude, you cannot spit at the other students in my classroom. And he's like, well, what are you going to do about it? I said, well, I'm going to call campus security. And so I'm on the phone to campus security, and I said, you need to leave. You need to get the hell out of my classroom. And he came up right in my face, and I said, okay, well, what are we doing here? You want to back off? You want to back away? And the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. And that afternoon, he was back in juvie. So.
Why was he spitting on kids? Just because?
Just because one of them pissed him off, I guess, and he was just like gonna spit all over him.
That's like honestly the most disrespectful thing you can do, besides a slap.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unsanitary and it's unhealthy and everything else. So that was a good day. That was a fun day. So,
but pandemic, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, this was back in the early 2000s. So this was not, we didn't have COVID back then. That was pre-COVID, right? We're all going to say that for the rest of our lives. Now, that was pre-COVID, right? Like, Grandma, why do you have 1,000 toilet paper rolls in your closet? And she's like, well, it's post-COVID. Okay. That's why I have 1,000 toilet paper rolls in my closet. Okay. You never know when there's going to be another run on toilet paper. So we're all going to be saying to each other. But anyway, so what happened was there were two guys in that class. Okay, the two guys who loved me. I used to play basketball with them at lunch every day, right? So shoot hoops with them, right? I was a pretty good basketball player in my day. The problem is I stopped growing at 5'7", and so my basketball career ended at about, I don't know, 13 years old, because everybody else kept growing and I stopped growing. Well, I was shooting hoops with them. I still like to shoot around, even though I can only guard. That's about it. So all I can do is play point guard. But so I was shooting hoops with them, and what happened was, I guess while I was on the ground, they jumped this guy, and they were like on him. And then what they did was, once they got him down, right, and jumped him, they passed him off. Then they picked me up and they carried me, like walked me to the health office. Yeah.
You're still 5'7"?
I'm still 5'7". Well, actually, I'm not. I'm 5'6.5". I
You look
shrunk.
taller.
Do I look
I
taller?
thought you were like 6'1", 6'2".
No,
I
no.
did too.
Right there,
tall.
baby.
David came to my work.
Well, I am. I'm the same height as Michael J. Fox. That's
You
why.
said what, Leonard?
David came to my work. I was like,
But,
dude, this guy looks
but
familiar.
that's okay. You know what? See that right there? What I make up in stature, I got a lot of upper body strength. So people
Hold
don't
on, I have to zoom in.
people don't want to mess with me. Okay, that's a gun show right there. Okay. I tell my daughter, you want to go to the gun show? It's right there. Okay, that's the gun show. Okay, no, I used to rock climb, do a lot of rock climbing. So, yeah, a lot of upper body strength. Anyway, I digress. Yeah. So I can still pick up my son, like he doesn't like it because he's like almost 18, and he's like, I said, go do the dishes. He's like, I'm not doing your damn dishes. And I'm like, oh, really? I pick him up and I carry him to the like, and I set him down in front of the dishwasher. And he's like, okay, I get your point. I get your point now. Like, damn straight. That's it. Okay. Anyway, thanks for letting me vent. Okay, let's go back to the trainer. Okay. So, the tutor. Sorry, the tutors. He's a tutor. So one of the tutors, who is amazing at statistics, he gave this app. Okay. He developed this app on Desmos. And so let's go and let's look at his app real quick to try to concrete this idea. Okay, I can still do 50 push-ups. Did you know that? I can still do 50 push-ups. I do a push-up straight.
I could do that.
Yeah, but you're not pushing 50. I can do a push-up for every year I've been alive. That's my claim to fame right there. I'm gonna be doing 70 push-ups when I'm 70. That's what's gonna happen. Every year I'm alive, I do another push-up, straight, without a break. That's gonna keep me from having a heart attack. Hopefully, because I do like the churros. Okay, I like them way too much. Anyway, I'm tired. We're almost done. Okay, so damn kid wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning with his Chinese food. Like, come on, smack you upside the head. I'm gonna pick you up and throw you back in your bed. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Anyway,
Throw the Chinese food at him.
there you go. No, that's rude. I don't want him to punch me and send me back to juvie. Okay, so okay, I don't need to be getting in his face, but he's not scared of me anymore. That's the problem. So he used to be scared of me. He's not scared of me anymore. So he's like, I'll take you. I'll take you on. Like, okay, fine, whatever. Okay, can you see my screen here? Can you see this wonderful fish and net app here that was developed by Joel? Joel developed this, so this is amazing. Okay, can you guys see this? Yes? No? I can't hear anybody.
We can.
You can.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I can
Thank you.
see
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So what this is modeling is the confidence level. Okay. Confidence level. Okay. 95% confidence level. Okay. Now, what would happen if I made the confidence level lower? What would happen to the net? Anybody know?
It would get smaller.
It would get smaller. Gabby, you just got yourself a spin. Okay, Gabby is correct. Look what's happens. As the confidence level gets smaller, the net gets smaller. At 80%, did I capture the queen? The queen is in the middle here. Okay, at 80%, did I capture that queen? No,
No.
I didn't. Okay, that's another spin. Okay, so no. Gabby's got 2. So we didn't at 80%, but what about at 95%? I'm 80% confident that I captured the queen. Okay, but what about at 95%? At 95%, did I capture the queen? Yes, I did. Okay, I did capture it. It doesn't really look like it, but we did capture it because this parenthesis here, okay, this lower bound parenthesis is after the queen. Okay, and so what happens if I go to 99%? Ooh, 99%. The net's even bigger. It doesn't tell us as much information, but it's bigger. Now, what would happen if I moved my fish closer to the queen, right? Move the fish. So my initial sample was a lot closer to the actual population parameter. What happens if I move that closer? Well, then I can be less accurate, and still at 80%, I still would have captured the queen. However, I'm only 80% positive that I did. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and this little app is in the book, is in the textbook, so you can mess around with this yourself as well. Okay. Okay, that's about it for me. I'm gonna hand things over to Luis and Amanda at this point in time. Okay. So, and I'm gonna go call my therapist because I think we need another session about my traumatic high school years.
All right.
Just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you,
Bye.
Professor
Bye.
Hultman. All right. So we're just gonna pick off where we left off with Professor Hultman. So let me go ahead and get the book out. All right. So
Can I go use the bathroom?
go for it. All right. So he just finished doing the Desmos and the big ideas. But what I really wanted to go over, so we could go over it on the worksheets, is how to interpret the confidence intervals. So this section mainly relies on interpreting these confidence intervals than it is doing them. As you can see, as all the explanation that Professor Holtman was giving you, it was all an explanation. It was all an explanation as to how to interpret them. Okay, and right here it makes it a little bit easier for us because they color code the things that they want us to find out. So we're going to be looking at a few examples. So understanding how to interpret the confidence intervals. Understanding and interpreting confidence intervals can be broken into 3 parts. They are color coded for you below. So these are the 3 parts that they're going to be broken up into. So the first part is what parameter is being estimated. The second part is what level of confidence is being used. And the third part is what are upper and lower bounds in the interval in context. Okay, so what the parameter is being estimated is just the population proportion, the population mean, the population standard deviation, or what population. Well, what level of confidence is being used is usually straight up. They give you a percentage and what the upper and lower bounds in the interval in context. And again, they'll give you those as well. So if we take a look at the first example, it says, so when we see a phrase like 90% confidence interval that for the mean in seconds of a salmon run game in Splatoon 2 is between 240 and 260. Okay, so they give us this. And they're going to color code it with those exact same 3 things that we're looking for. This right here is our interpretation of what they've given us. Okay, so we are 90% confidence, which is in blue. It's this part right here. What level of confidence is being used? That the time between 240 seconds and 260 seconds. Again, this in purple is the check mark for number 3, what the upper and lower bounds are. Contains the mean time for a game of Salmon Run in Splatoon 2. Again, this will be our number 1. What is the parameter that's being estimated? Okay, so this is how to, you did it with Professor Hultman. He did it once with you with the fishes, I believe. Oh no, with the Bernie Sanders, example. So it's going to be the exact same thing. We're looking for the level of confidence being used. We're looking for our upper and lower bounds, and we're looking for the parameter that's being estimated. Those are the 3 main things that we're looking for. Again, there's another example right here in the bottom. It says, and when we read proportions of U.S. citizens that travel overseas, which is 0.0377 and 0.0474 with 95% confidence. This is how we will interpret this. With 95% confidence, again, your blue is your number 2. The proportion between 3.77% and 4.74%, again, the one in purple will be your upper and lower bound. Contains the proportion of U.S. citizens who travel overseas, and the one in red is your parameter. All right. So we're going to be needing this for our homework. So if you don't have your homework out, I would recommend you start taking it out and follow along in what we're going to be finishing up. All right. So this is your homework for today. It's not too difficult. It's just explaining and interpreting what we've been doing all along this whole first session of the class. So for the first part, it's the same example as we see in the one I just given you. This is the Splatoon one with the Salmon Run game. So this one is in your book. It's just reiterated in this section. So now we're going to be doing the second part, which is again in the book, but this time we're going to be writing down the phrases and interpretation above that corresponds with each requirement. I kind of gave you this one already, but it's okay. It's fine. So if you remember from the textbook, proportion of U.S. citizens that travel overseas with 95% confidence. Remember that with 95% confidence was highlighted. The proportion between 3.7 and 4.74% was highlighted, and contains the proportion of all U.S. citizens who travel overseas was highlighted. So for the first one, we want the parameter. What would the parameter in this case be? Anybody? So this was the same problem as the previous one, right? It's this one right here. So what's the parameter? Well, what's the color of the parameter that we're looking for? We're looking for the one that's being highlighted in red, right? So then in this case, the proportion of U.S. citizens who travel overseas will be our parameter. So that's something that's what we're gonna be putting in this one right here. For number 1, we're just gonna put the proportion of all US citizens who travel overseas. That'll be for number 1. Okay. Now for your second part is looking for what? The second part is looking for the level of confidence, that's being used. In this case, what's the level of confidence that's being used?
95%.
95%. Again, in these problems, they'll tell you in the given portion. Nothing. And right here, it tells you right here, 95%. You could put confidence level, CL. I'm gonna put CL just for confidence level. Now for the 3, it wants the upper and lower bounds of the interval. What are the upper and lower bounds?
3.77 and 4.74.
3.77% and 4.74%. That will be your upper and lower bound. Okay, so that's all I really want you to do, and it also wants you to do this part, interpretation part right here. In this case, they already given us the interpretation, but they won't give it to us in the next coming questions. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, now it's our turn. We're gonna write the interpretation for each of the given intervals, and we will do the 1, 2, 3 on them as well. All right, so I will recommend you highlight if you could use the highlight function. Okay, so it says the mean hospital cost for accidental victims who were wearing seatbelts is 5,403, and they made a little typo right here that should have been, or actually no, my bad, and 12,605 with a 99% confidence. Okay, so what I highlighted is our upper and lower bound and our confidence level. What else do we need to highlight? We need to highlight one more thing. We want to highlight our parameter. What would the parameter be?
Would it be accident victims who were wearing seatbelts?
You're in the right area. It will actually be the mean hospital cost for accidents wearing seatbelts, for victims who are wearing seatbelts. Okay, that would just be the mean hospital cost. So now we have our 1, we have our 2, and we have our 3. Now it's interpretation. How would you interpret this? Well, first of all, you will want to start off with your confidence level. I am 99% confident. Okay, so that's our first part. We always want to start off with our confidence level. We are 99% confident that what? Anybody want to give it a shot? We know that we have to have our confidence level, which we already have. We're supposed to have our parameter, which we need as well. And we also need our upper and lower bound in there. So how would you put that in a sentence?
Would you put that I'm 99% confident that, confident that the proportion of U.S. citizens who travel overseas is between 3.77% and 4.74%?
I think you're in the previous section.
Previous section?
Yeah, we're in this one right now with the mean hospital cost.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay. But you were still in the right track for the previous one. But in this case, we would say somewhere around the lines where I am 99% confident that the mean hospital cost costs for victims for let's see, you will want to write that for accident victims who are wearing seatbelts is between 5,403, and you'll put the money sign. So I would write it down, but it's a lot. I don't think I'll have space. Cost for accident. And there's more than one way to write this. This is the more simpler ways. But there's a couple of ways you could write this. And I'll share some more right now. Let's see. Belts is between and don't forget to, because we're talking about cost, we're talking about money. And okay, so that'll be one way to write it. It's a bit messy, but it's the best I could do. What's another way? Another way you could say this is, I am 99% confident that, let's see. I am 99% confident that the mean hospital cost is between 5,403 and 12,605 for victims, for accident victims who are wearing seatbelts. That's another way you could write it. You could switch things around. You don't necessarily have to stick to a format or anything, but it's up to your own. It's up to you how you guys want to write it. This is just my way of writing it. It's not perfect by any means, but it's something. It'll get the work done. Okay. Everybody got that? Anybody has any questions? All right, then. So I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to the next part. Okay, so we have 4 more things. So who wants to read this one and give us all 3 things we should be highlighting?
I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Gabriela. Can you give her a spin as well?
Okay. So it says 92% confidence interval for the proportion of South Koreans who smoke. Point 174 and point 224. So I think we're going to have to highlight the 92% confidence.
Correct.
And then I would highlight proportion of South Koreans who smoke.
Correct.
And then I would highlight the decimal points.
Yes. So those are actual percentages. Okay. Well, they're decimals, but you can turn them into percentages.
Okay.
So how would you interpret this, Gabriela?
Like what would I write?
Yes. How would you express this? How we did in the previous question.
I put something like with 92% confidence. The proportion of South Koreans who smoke are between, so it'd be 17%, 17.4%.
17.4%.
And a maximum of 22.4%. That's
Yeah.
what I will put.
That sounds perfect. I'm trying to catch up. Who smoke is I kind of forgot what you said towards the end, but it's somewhere around these lines, 17.4% and 22.4% as well. Okay. So yeah, that sounds perfect. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't really change it, but like I stated, you could also rewrite it in different ways. You could rewrite it in more than one. But yeah, that will be it for this one. With 92% confidence, the proportion of South Koreans who smoke is between 17.4% and 22.4%. Okay. Anybody has any questions on that one? And I noticed Matt just came in. All right.
Yeah, Matt just came in and Eduardo just left.
Okay, then thank you. All right. So that'll be it for this part. We're gonna move on to the next one. Who wants to do the next one? David, do you want to give it a shot?
I will.
Jishan, go for it, Jishan.
You want me to read it out loud?
You could read it out loud and then tell me what we need to highlight.
Okay, the percentage of high school football players who get an athletic scholarship for college with 98% confidence. Okay, so I will put I am 90. Oh, wait, so you have to highlight the 98% confidence
Good.
percentage of high school football players.
Oh,
right?
percentage of high school football players.
And then, yeah, the numbers at the end, right?
And then the numbers right here. Okay. So we could shorten this up a bit, but what would you put?
I will put I'm 98% confident that between 46, no, is that 46%? That's not 46%, right?
It's 4.6%.
Yeah, 4.6% and 8.6%
Okay.
high school football players.
Between, okay, wait, I think I forgot that. Between 4.6% and 8.6%. And you were saying?
That between high school football players receive an athletic scholarship.
Yeah, it does sense. You just have to reword it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But we would say I am 98% confidence that between 4.6% and 8.6% are, that doesn't make, we have to rewrite it a little bit more because that wouldn't make sense. Okay, so in between right here, before the between, I am 98% confidence that high school football players between, now let's see. I am 98% confident that between 4.6 and 8%.
We could put our high school players who receive an athletic scholarship.
Yeah, I think that's what I was looking for. Thank you. Our high school football players.
That's a spin for Jay Sean for the thing.
Yeah, and the spin for Jay Sean as well. I can't write down the rest, but you kind of get where we're going, right? Yeah, that's what we were looking for. That's what Jay Sean said. I just kind of blanked out for a bit. So I have 98% confidence that between 4.6% and 8.6% are high school football players who get an athletic scholarship for college. Okay. I couldn't write down the rest, but that will be our interpretation for this one. All right. Next one. Leonard, do you want to try the next one?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, then. What do we highlight?
We highlight 95% confidence interval.
Okay.
And then we highlight mean salary of college graduates in California.
Mean salary. Okay.
And then you highlight the two numbers at the end, 76,261 and 83,739.
Correct. So how would you interpret this?
I am 95% confidence that the mean salary of college graduates in California is between 76,261 and 83,739.
What you said. I was trying to catch up with the writing, but it's a bit difficult. So what Leonard said is, I am 95% confident that the mean salary of college graduates in California is between this. So I am 95% confidence that the mean salary of college graduates in California is between, make sure you put money signs for this because we're talking about money. 6261 and 83739. Okay. Okay. Everybody got this one? Everyone okay? I know, Matt, you're a little bit late to the party, but what we're doing is we're just interpreting confidence intervals. And I'll go a little bit more in detail towards the end. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next one unless anybody has any questions. And I think the next one is the last one that we have in our section. Okay. So who hasn't went? David, want to try it?
I guess.
Okay.
Highlight 98% confidence.
And
Highlight
we
the two numbers.
Wait, we're doing this one right here.
Oh. All right. Highlight 96% confidence. Highlight the two numbers.
Okay. And we need one more to highlight.
Mean 3 points made per game from 2016 2019.
Yeah.
For the Warriors. All right.
So how would you interpret this?
I am 96% confident that So would I say the mean? I'm trying to find the mean, or I'm trying to say that the mean is that?
You could say the mean for 3 points made per game, okay,
Is
so
between 10.64 and 12.96.
don't forget
Or is that like the average amount of 3-pointers that they make?
Yeah, you could also say average. Average is the same thing as mean. So it wouldn't really, if you were to change mean with average, you're pretty much saying the same thing. So
Okay.
the mean 3 points.
Yeah, I'm 96% confident that the mean, or I say average, that their average 3-pointers made per game from 2016 to 2019 is 10.64 and 12.96.
So we're using average instead of mean then. So the average 3-point made per game. Don't forget that
Yeah, I said from 2016 to 2019.
Okay then. For 2016 to 2019 is between 10.64%. 10.64 and 12.96. Okay. And that'll be it for interpreting confidence intervals. All we really want to know is what it's describing, what our confidence level is, and what our upper and lower bound is as well. As you can see from all these 3 examples, that's all we were looking for. We're looking for the confidence level. We're looking for what it's describing, in this case, the mean 3 points made per game. And we're looking for the upper and lower bound in this case. Okay. So there's not, let me see. That's clear. Everybody got this? Anybody have any questions? All right. So let's go ahead and clear the drawings. And let's check. All right. And then there's just these last few parts that we're going to be looking at. But other than that, that's it for how to interpret confidence intervals. We're not going to do much with this. Next module, you are going to be building them, I believe. So just understand what confidence intervals are and how to interpret them. So for next time, you know how to build them easier than if you didn't know what they were. Okay. All right, so we're going to be using confidence intervals to come to a conclusion. An example, a university is concerned that their students are uninformed about the news from other countries. A standardized testing, but just to let you know, we finished the homework already. Okay. A standardized
So
test is,
can we turn that in right now?
if you already have it done, then yes. If you haven't wrote on it, then I wouldn't turn in the blank page. Okay. But if you already finished it with me and you wrote it all down, go for it, turn it in. I have no quarrel against that. Okay. So everybody should turn it in by today at least. We already went over the whole thing, so it shouldn't be too difficult to, even if you didn't caught it up, you shouldn't be too difficult to finish everything else. All right. So a standardized test is used to assess student knowledge at world events, nationally reported with a mean of 65 points and a standard deviation of 5 points. Brian uses a random sample of 30 students and tests them. Sample mean is 58 points. Sample standard deviation is 17.5 points. He calculates a 99% confidence interval of 49.2 and 66.8 using the students' data. How do these students compare to the national sample? Okay, so first let's describe our confidence interval. Well, Brian is 99% sure that the students that he sampled or he asked have a mean of 49.2 points and 66.8 points. What does that mean? Well, the mean is for let me see. Is the knowledge of world events. Okay, how much they know of world events. So we're just describing our confidence interval. And how do these students compare to the national sample? Well, what's the national sample? The national sample is 65 points, right? Are they in between 65 points? With the upper and lower bound, right? They're in between 65 points, right? Even though it's at almost 50 to 67, they're still in between 65 points. So Brian they weren't far off than the national mean. But if by any chance he would have given you, let's see, instead of that, he would have given you like 50 to 60. Well, we already know that the students are far off. They wouldn't even be within the national reported mean, which is 65%. So that will tell you that they're not up to date with their world knowledge. Okay, but since they do fall between the 65 points, at least some of them know what's going on, or have some knowledge of world events. Okay, when making these conclusions based on the confidence interval, it all boils down to where the particular value in relation to the interval lies in relation to the interval. Is it inside the interval, outside, above, or below? Well, we already stated that it's inside the interval, right? It's not outside, it's not above, or it's not below. It's in between those. Take some things to take note of here. The data set from the sample of 30 students has a lower mean than the national mean. So, but is that significantly lower, or just the results of data vary? The confidence interval indicates that the population mean of the university score is likely to be a value within the constructed interval, but does not give more or less likelihood to where the interval is, the middle or the edges where the parameter lies. Since the national mean is within Brian's interval, we do not reject that the university as a whole has a similar mean to that of a nation. So this last point is very important. Since the national mean is within Brian's interval, like I stated, the national mean falls within the interval. We do not reject that we do not reject that the university as a whole has a similar mean to that of the nation. So there's no way that we will reject that at all, because we don't even know where the sample mean lies. Or I mean, we do in this case, but if they just gave us an interval, we all know where the sample mean lies. Okay? We do not reject the possibility that the university will have the same mean as the national. But like I stated, if they would have given us 50 to 60, we are going to reject that. We will reject that the university doesn't have, or we will accept that the university doesn't have a similar mean to that of the national. Okay, so these 3 points are important for future assignments as well, and you will get to them as we go on. But this last one would be, I believe, the most important one from experience. Okay, whether we reject something or we don't. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today. We'll do the MVP points, and then I think that's all. Okay, so let me go to StatCrunch. All right, Amanda, do you mind telling me who? So,
Okay. So I have 3 spins for Gabby.
all right, give me a quick second. I'm putting.
Oh, okay. Man, I thought you said tell me like you're already ready.
Okay, no, I meant like in a second. Sorry.
All right.
All right, so 3 spins for Gabby, you said?
Yes.
So 3 spins. We get a 2, we get a 3, and we get a 3. So that will be 8 points for Gabby.
Okay.
All right.
And then I have 3 spins for Jayshawn.
Jayshawn, 3 spins. 3, 2, 3. Another 8 points for Jayshawn.
Okay. 3 for David.
3 for David. 2, 3, 2. So that will be for 7. 7 points for David.
And then 1 for Leonard.
3 points for Leonard.
Sweet. You come up to 26 for the day.
All right, then congrats. But other than that, that'll be it for today. I guess I have to end it early because I have no more material to cover. All right.
David,
So
did you want to hang out for a second?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Other than that, everybody else is free to go. And have a nice day.
Hey. Okay. Let me share my screen. Cool. So this is what I have for you, right?
Yeah.
The link should be open to anyone. So if you go up to this green button on the top, as long as it says anyone can edit, it should be good.
Okay.
So what I did is I'd go to the thing. So like if this was today, you do your Quizlet as soon as you like wake up or right before you start like working, like on the classwork. So I would say, 30 minutes before you do your tutoring, just go over your Quizlet real quick. And then, you said you can go to 9 a.m. tutoring.
Yeah,
Were you
I
able
can.
to go today?
No, I forgot.
I think there's one on Thursday too, right, Luis? Or Wednesday, one of those days?
There's 2 today. Oh, wait, but he's working, right?
Yeah, so you can only go to 9 a.m.
Let me check. Let me check real quick. Give me a quick second.
I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday. There's another 9 a.m.
I get to work at 1.
Okay. I think there's one today at 12 too.
Yeah.
So if you want to get there early, I don't know if you have a chance to sit at work and do it.
I'm gonna be driving right there.
Okay,
Okay.
So not today. Maybe there's.
Well, if you want to sit, I don't know if it's able for you to like park somewhere at work or like.
I don't. I'm a security guard, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you sit in a car or do you walk around?
Walk around.
Okay.
It's best not to integrate those two together.
Yeah. Because I know Lavario was too.
Mm-hmm.
Not Lavario. Josiah was, and he'd sit in his car while he was on patrol.
He looks like
had
he
an
was
actual
security
car.
for a mall, though. I'm for a warehouse.
Okay.
So there's one tomorrow at 6 p.m. Would you be free tomorrow? 6 p.m.
No.
What time are you free tomorrow?
I get off at around 8 or 9.
8 or 9? Well, okay, I don't think you'll be able to make it. Let's
would
see.
you be able to do something like right after the hour or your hour in independent study?
What
Because you
time is
usually
it?
come like in at 10, right?
Yeah, I usually come right when it starts so I can leave sooner.
Okay, so maybe you can hang out and we'll see if we can get a tutor for you during that time period. Maybe
Let
if you
me
do
check
like
my
10 to 11, maybe you can do like 11 to 12.
Yeah, let me check my schedule. Yeah, I could do like 30 minutes.
Okay, so maybe, or Luis, did you want to do an extra 30 minutes tomorrow?
When? Tomorrow?
Yeah, so
At
he's
what
probably
time?
done around 11 for his independent study. So maybe 11 to 11:30? Or do you want to do 9 to 9:30, David?
I can do that.
In the morning, 9 to
Yeah,
9:30?
I can do 9:32. Either one, whichever one works for you guys.
9 to 9:30 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Just run it by Angie because like
Okay.
we can't be making up our own stuff as well.
Oh yeah. He part of his personal training is he can get a couple, like maybe 30 minutes or so of like kind of like private tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see if she approves it 9 to 9:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
Because there may be another tutoring going on at 9, so I'll double check. Okay.
But wait, tomorrow is the independent study, right?
Oh yeah, there is none. Okay. Well, I'll check with Angie about 9 to 9:30 for tutoring. But when I go into this document, so here, I go to this fill color,
Uh-huh.
and then I just pick a color. So tomorrow,
Okay.
let's do independent as blue, or well, I could do it back as red. It's class time. And this is where you're going to do proctorio, okay?
Okay.
And then I just go up to either click it or this FX right here lets you type it in. And then that's proctorio. So then I'll select these two and I could fill these two for independent study. I'm just going to do IS. And then I write 10 to 11 a.m. That's why I know exactly what time.
Okay.
So then your work schedule, fill it in. I put when you're going to work out. And then hopefully you can input some like a study time.
Mm-hmm.
I have your Quizlet at night. Whenever you feel like you want to move it, you can I think you can just clear it.
I'll probably do that on my break.
Up here, there's reset and it undoes the color.
Okay.
Okay, so if you click the wrong color, just reset or reselect the right color. And then I have access to this, so all you have to do is make the changes to the document and I can view it on my end, okay? You don't have to send it to anyone. I just figured that'd be easier for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, and then I'll check it tonight when you message me. And that way I could see what you've done.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so you're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and thanks, Luis.
What is he gonna need help with tomorrow?
He needs to do proctorio because his exam 2, he checked it the day before, but that Wednesday morning, it didn't work for him.
I
So
honestly don't know how to use proctorio.
I'm going to look over it tonight because I'm going to help him at 9:30, and he's going to do his proctorio quiz before everything starts, and that way he can get out and go to work sooner. But now, hopefully he gets tutoring before the proctorio part.
Okay. All right, then that sounds good.
And then I'll message you if Angie approves it.
All right, then just let me know.
Okay, cool. I'll see you.